Okay, so I want to show everybody some stuff about PubMed. I know we talked about it this in week 5, but I decided to do a Camtasia video and give that a try. I've never done it before, so we'll see how this goes. First thing I want to point out is up here in the address bar, you will notice it says OTOL equals SDSUD LIB. That is the USD signifier called outside tool, and that lets PubMed interface with our journal holdings here at the university so that when people are searching, they'll see what journals and what articles we have available to them. If you're just at pubmed.gov, it's not going to show you that. If that outside tool isn't set, then it's just going to be, if it's free text available, it'll show you that. Otherwise, it's not going to show you any particular holdings. San Jose has the King Library has their own setup for that as well. So if you click through PubMed like you did in the last part of that question, it would associate with PubMed in the same way. Now, the PubMed is the free access to the Medline database. The Medline database is published by the National Library of Medicine, which is part of the National Institutes of Health. The Medline database is sold to a variety of folks. They pimp it out widely, and Ovid has an interface, EBSCO has an interface, Web of Knowledge has an interface, etc., etc., etc. So lots of different places to get in. PubMed.gov is the free interface into that Medline database that you have to pay for with other vendors. So that's kind of the history or the setup of all of this. Now on the front page, you'll see FAQs. There are tutorials. They're laid out pretty simply. They're updated fairly recently, and they're very short in duration. It's keeping it simple, keeping it focused on what you need to know. So searching the med database, search PubMed by author, author subject, etc., etc. So those are things that are available for you to take a look at, and it's good to go back and refer. There's also the news and new and noteworthy will keep you updated on changes to PubMed. Single citation matcher allows you to find broken or partial citations. Sometimes you have to keep fitting that jigsaw puzzle together until you get there. But in the case of, say, our first one, Monini was the author, and it was on HIV. And so it'll get you to a quicker list of those articles. And the more information you have, the more quickly you can find it. But that's a good way. Frequently in medicine, you have people that give you bits and pieces, and so you don't always know whether it's correct or not. So that's why sometimes they'll give you the right journal but the wrong year, or the right year but the wrong page numbers, or so you kind of have to keep playing with the various pieces to see what's available and where you are. I'm going to go back to the home page here. Now, up here, the search function, you'll see it's defaulted to PubMed. And if you take a quick look at the pull down, you'll see there are many databases produced by NIH through NLM that are available for you to search, and they're all free. OMIM is a personal favorite. It's genetic diseases. MESH is medical subject headings, just like there's Library of Congress subject headings, which hopefully you will learn about when you take cataloging, because I know you're going to take cataloging, or at least some sort of bibliographic organization class. Even if it's not, if you don't do cataloging, you need to understand why things are done a certain way. But what I want to show you first of all is the MESH database. So you can search it that way, or you can click on the link here on the home page and it'll take you directly to the MESH database. They've just refreshed this page as of a few weeks ago, so it looks entirely new. Now, we put in our term heart attack, and I think that was very interesting. It's always interesting how people take what I type in a document literally and you put the quotations around it. Quoted text searching is very specific. It looks for that word combination with that word and space character combination in exactly that configuration. And so that's a very refined, very precise way to search for something that you know what you're looking for. I don't encourage people to use that if you're just doing general searching. So please lay off the quotation marks, because it'll only find the quoted phrase of heart attack or whatever you put in between those quotation marks it can be useful, and I have used it many times before, but it's a very specific technique that I don't encourage on a regular basis, simply because it lops off a lot of things. Now, the mesh database is, as you'll see now, it says they call it NLM's controlled vocabulary. It is a hierarchy, so when I put in heart attack and I tell it to search, it's going to give me myocardial infarction. That's the preferred term. It's always going to go to that medical search term, and you'll see there are various subheadings that you can click here, and I'll show you that in a minute as how that becomes important. There are also mesh major topics, and that is this article is really about this. A mesh heading means that it's about this. Otherwise, it's just doing a keyword search. When you first go to that PubMed page and you type in heart attack, you're just doing a keyword search. So it searches myocardial infarction, mesh, myocardial, all fields, infarction, all fields, heart, all fields, attack, all fields, heart attack, all fields. So it could in theory pull up an article that somewhere in there that said someone had their heart broken and they had an anxiety attack. So heart and attack are in there, but they're not related conceptually. Mesh allows you to search based on concepts, which is why I really like that. So that's the beauty of mesh. And well, again, I'll show you this here in a moment. But major topics, explode. It used to be called explode or don't explode. Now they've reworded it to make it a little more intuitive. So that you can see the entry terms, infarction, myocardial, infarctions, myocardial. It doesn't have all the entry terms, but whenever you type in heart attack, PubMed knows you mean myocardial infarction, so it's going to search that. So here's the hierarchy. So that myocardial infarction is part of myocardial ischemia, which is under the larger umbrella of heart diseases, which is under the larger umbrella of cardiovascular diseases, which is under the larger umbrella of disease category. You will see that there's a slight variation here with the second branch, heart diseases and vascular diseases, and you can click on any of these and it'll take you to that. So if I want to see vascular diseases, I can click on it, and then you'll see vascular diseases, and then you will see the breakdown below that, so you can see the variation, and it's a pretty big category. So the point here, and why they call it mesh, they used to have a little tree logo up here in the upper left corner. I mean, it's really like the branches of a tree. The more specific you get, the farther out you go. So that here, just click back here, you're farther out on that branch, and you're getting more and more refined. If you go the opposite direction, you're getting more and more general. So that's just for you to see. Now, as I said, the exploding, you can tell I don't really want to see anything on these headings, which are below, which are more refined than myocardial infarction. I just want myocardial infarction and above. That's how that works. Now, like I said, there's these subheadings. So if I really want to see diagnosis, diet therapy, and drug therapy, I can select those three. And then over here in my top right, I have my search builder, and I have my Boolean connectors. I can choose and, or not, and I want all three of them present. I want any one of them present. Not, I don't want. I want the first one, but not any of the others. So let's just go with and for right now. And you'll see once I click on that, myocardial infarction diagnosis, or blah blah blah. It's kind of defaulting. There's a to or, even though I put and in here. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Maybe they haven't gotten it fixed completely yet. But anyway, I've got those in there. So I'm going to tell it to search PubMed, and you'll see there are 55,689 articles, which again are an awful lot of articles, but that's to be expected. I just chose three really large subheadings of a really large category. Now, on the top right, you'll see filter. There's some preset filters. You can customize it to set others. I've got some tutorials, titles with your search terms, free full text. You can search in any of those other databases that are available. It shows your search details here of how it constructed the search, etc. Now, one of the things I want to point out is some of the little interesting text below some of these, and you'll see PubMed indexed for Medline. Again, Medline database. This means that this article has been fully treated. So if I click on it, I took N3 fatty acids, you'll see below publication types and link out. So publication types mesh terms. This tells me it gives me the mesh terms. An asterisk afterwards tells me that it's a major heading. So this article is about statistical data interpretation. It's about humans, and it's about alpha-linolenic acid therapeutic use, but it's really about drug therapy for myocardial infarction, therapeutic use of omega-3 fatty acids, and prevention and control of cardiovascular diseases. What happens is a publisher sends this article into the National Library of Medicine. It gets the basic citation information gets put in. Eventually, the entire article is sent out to an indexer who reads through it and then applies these mesh terms. There's minimum usually like 2 or 3. If you send something back with only 1, they're going to look at you kind of funny. Sometimes it can be 20 or more. It really just depends on how detailed the article is, how long the article is, how many different subjects are covered, etc. So these are very, very important because these allow you to search for those concepts, not just keywords. One quick point to make up here is you'll see the NEJM full free text, but you also see the You Get It button, and this is our University of South Dakota link to our holdings. This will show up on every article you click, and it'll either take you to the full text link if we have it, or it'll take you to our interlibrary loan request form. So that's a nice little thing. But again, if you didn't have that, if you didn't go in through the USD homepage and log in, you wouldn't have that ability. So this is what's going on right now. It's free. It's a new article, and New England frequently does that. Like for the first week of the journal, they'll put the article or some articles out there for free. Now, over here on these terms, one of the things you can do is if you left click, you'll see PubMed. You can search it in PubMed as a separate term. You can search it in Mesh, or you can add it to your current search. So there's a couple things you can do. So if you find your perfect article, you can grab these subject terms here and start searching that way. Now, I want to go back to the home page here, and again, I want to do the heart attack. You can turn off that auto complete if you want. I'll just leave it on because it doesn't bother me very much. And I'm going to tell it to search. And so, 174,734. You'll see as you go through as you've looked through the comments for week 5, that number increases on a daily basis. They're constantly adding to the PubMed database. And some things are in early, some things are not. And again, if you look here, you'll see that PubMed is supplied by publisher. It hasn't been treated. It doesn't have mesh headings on it yet. It's just the citation. Probably doesn't even have an abstract. Let's see if we can get a little bit further down here. PubMed in process means they're working on it. It hasn't just been dumped in. And if you click on it, it may or may not have some things in there. It's got link out to, which is it's another service offered by Medline Plus. So, but this one has all the abstract information in it. So let's go back here. But anyway, what I really want you to see is this box here, the search details. Some of you commented on that, but this is what it does. I just typed in heart attack, and so it puts in myocardial infarction mesh, myocardial infarction myocardial infarction all fields, heart all fields, attack all fields, heart attack all fields. This is searching for everything, which is there's no doubt why there's 174,000 plus articles here, because there's heart and attack are pretty common words in medicine, so they're going to really appear.